Welcome to the OOV Day, the reflection for Saturday, September 24th. The Gospel reading for today's daily Mass comes to us from the 9th chapter of St. Luke's Gospel. It reads, While they were all amazed at his every deed, Jesus said to his disciples, Pay attention to what I am telling you. The Son of Man is to be handed over to men. But they did not understand the saying. Its meaning was hidden from them, so that they should not understand it. And they were afraid to ask him about the saying. Today's gospel passage reminded me of a tragic incident when I was a young boy. I was outside one day playing when my grandfather pulled into the driveway. As usual, I dropped what I was doing. I ran up to my grandpa's truck to say hello and give him a hug. But as my grandfather was getting out of his truck, I could see on his face that he was sad or angry. But he still gave me a quick hello, but then he told me to go back to playing. He went into the machine shed to talk with my father, and then after some time they both walked out of the machine shed into the house to find my mother. And then some more time passed, and eventually all three of them came out of the house, and Dad and Mom called me over to tell me that one of our 18-year-old neighbors had died. I immediately was sad as I knew him well, and then I asked my dad how he died. Mom then spoke and told me that he died suddenly, and all of us would be going to a funeral in a few days to pray for him and for his family. To be truthful, I was still curious and sad, but this answer was sufficient for the time because I could see that the adults were done explaining. Grandpa walked to his truck and drove off, and Dad said he needed my help in the machine shed, and then we went to work. But over the coming days, I found out what happened. My 18-year-old neighbor committed suicide by driving his car into a cement wall at one of the large buildings in our community. And being a small town, everyone talked about it. Everyone speculated about why it happened. But in the end, the funeral for this young man was one of the largest I ever attended because our community rallied around his family and also to pray for him. It was after the funeral, and probably a few days after the funeral, I asked my parents why they didn't tell me everything that first day when Grandpa arrived to tell them. In my young mind, I felt as if they didn't trust me. But my dad said something that I'll never forget. Your mom and I always want to do what is best for you. So what we did that day, we thought was best for you. And I'll be truthful, I didn't fully understand his response at that time, but I can now see that my dad was telling me that he loved me, and they thought they did what was right. And maybe what they did was wrong, maybe it wasn't, but their intention was right, and again, they did what was best in their mind for me. So whenever we encounter an experience in the gospel like we have today, where the evangelists tell us that the meaning of Christ's teaching was hidden, or the teachings of Christ were not fully understood, we should immediately call our minds back to the fact that Jesus is always acting out of love and concern for every person he encounters. Yes, those that encounter Jesus may want more information, or they want something clearer. But again, everything Jesus does is out of love for his people. And furthermore, he can't err. So again, we can imagine some hypotheticals. If Jesus would explain more about his death, would his disciples have stopped following him and listening to him, and thus not learning more about the importance of the gospel? Also another hypothetical, if Jesus would have talked more about his death, would the Jewish authorities and those conspiring to kill him, would they have moved more quickly to eliminate this problem in their eyes? And again, the hypotheticals could go on and on. So no matter how old we are or how much experience we have in this world, there are always going to be realities that are difficult to understand and maybe perplexing to us. And this includes aspects of our faith. But let us not be frustrated or disappointed or anxious about our lack of understanding, especially around areas of our faith. But let us remember that the love of God and His Son Jesus Christ is always with us, and that this love is what is most important as we look out to all situations in our lives. Because again, the love of God is what is to motivate us, guide us, help us, support us, and truly is all that we need. So if I return to my young self, I wish that I would have not been angry with my parents in light of that situation. But again, now I fully understand. They were doing the best they could. But with God and Jesus Christ, they always do what's best for us. And we can truly trust in that. Our Lady of Victory, pray for us.